Muamode share and modofo snowy, Matana say. And some would draw Elcoso, ever yet my gun, and no enemy, it was for in the past, Udi Dimechi, na Yonkotie and Semibi and Bra.
I think some people have felt that one of the problems we have is that there's too much politics all year round, and they feel like the NPP has started too early. Yeah. I've discussed some of these things with you in the past, where you sort of agree that we shouldn't politicize everything. So how come you proposed an early flag bearer election for NPP and you supported all the ideas towards January in fact, I think you even said December 2025. That was your original proposal, right?
I think people misunderstood my proposal.
Okay.
And it's captured in writing. I don't know whether, I think I sent you a copy.
I'm sure I have it.
Yes, and I spoke at the National Council because we are in exceptional circumstances. We have a situation where our party is normally led by the chairman. And you've had the likes of BJ Darocha, Odoi Sykes, Pitala, Ajete. These were very strong characters. Unfortunately, we don't have a situation now, especially when even the current chairman is not able to perform his duties, unfortunately. And so, therefore, there's a big vacuum. So I was of the view that, look, let's open up the Electoral College to cut out the monetization of the electoral processes and also to give power to those who've really sacrificed for this political tradition. All past officers of our party, from the polling stations, it used to be the wards, the electoral areas, to the constituencies, right through to the national. These are patriots of our party who have given their time, their energy, their sweat, equity to bring this party where we are today. And if we can open up and give them that voting right, that sense of belonging will be assured. That sense of participation will be assured. And the feeling that they have been ostracized. And one of the most painful things in this political tradition, as I've been going around, is the fact that people gave their all, especially in those difficult days in the 1990s, in the return to democracy. And today, I mean, you have people who've been regional chairmen multiple times, members of parliament, cabinet ministers who don't have a voting right. And I felt that was wrong. And so I said, look, let's open up. And if they had heeded my call, would have had about 1.5, maybe 2 million in the Electoral College. And I think that is more representative of the party, And I said that if that was achieved, then perhaps we should consider having the flag bearership contest first.
Okay, so it was conditional.
It was conditional. I mean, the letter is there. But of course, I think it fell into some people's own plan. And so before I finished even delivering my statement in council, I mean, I heard it was all over the news. Governor Japan says early primaries, top down. I never used the word top down.
Oh,
no,
wow.
Never. I mean, it's there. And
so you gave a condition that
yes,
if the electoral college is expanded.
If you look at the results, the fact that if you compare 2020 to 2024, that over 2 million of our sympathizers did not turn up. The only good thing was that they didn't vote for the other side. Okay? And I have a certain phone, an old phone from my time as press secretary. Everybody knows that number. It's a telecell number. And so I'm on a lot of platforms. And that particular phone, sometimes if I want to know what is going on, I wake up a bit early and I go through. It's quite clear that people felt a sense of being ostracized, especially the older folk who had given their all, and that power had been just invested in the few delegates. There's no position such as a delegate in the Constitution. They are polling station executives, and they are supposed to be the frontline soldiers of our struggle, the ones who should do our advocacy at the local level. But because it's been overtaken by picking the biggest person or the parliamentarian, now people refer to themselves as delegates, and that is wrong. So they've lost focus of what they are supposed to be doing. And it's created a situation where people feel, okay, if we are not part of the decision, then when it comes to campaign, do it and let's see, in traditional Ghanaian parlance. So I felt this was going to bring an easy, no-brainer solution. All those who have been, as you say, schemed out of position. Because we've also known over the last 3 or so cycles, certain people on the party's register have been schemed out. Our Constitution, Article 3, talks about the polling station being the basic unit of political activity and that they should be renewing themselves every 6 months, submitting their registers to the party headquarters. In fact, when I was General Secretary, I caused to be printed over 40,000 polling station registers to try and encourage the party to be active at the base, so that if you meet as a polling station, normally 30 people, 25, you know yourselves. So when it gets to electing the 5 to represent you at the presidential ballot, it doesn't become a difficult situation where people from national office or constituency office have to come and determine for you because you have a register. You know, so those are the things that I've been pushing for. So I'm a reformer. I want us.
So let me get this clear. We're in exceptional circumstances without NPP having a chairperson. So I would have thought that maybe NPP should have just had an interim chair, or maybe voted for some national executives first, and then that team will have the mandate to choose a flag bearer. So in a sense, your proposal has been distorted.
Definitely.
It's been distorted.
It's been distorted in a way, you know. So people then started taking umbrage with me that I'm the one who pushed for the early conference, early Congress and all that.
And now you are not supporting it fully, but of course you are part of it.
Well, I'm part of it. I respect the party. Once we go to National Council, the majority takes the decision. However much I canvass against it, I find it very uncomfortable to come out and say, look,
But do you see the risk? Because everything you do has a risk. Do you see the risk of this approach?
The risk? In fact, what I was expecting that once we went to conference, and conference accepted that we should expand, although marginally. I wanted this expansion that I spoke to you
much
about.
Broader.
Much broader. They said we should add only 2 to the polling station. I would have thought then we should have had a new polling station register. Renewed the base, and they form about 93% of the electoral college. So that if we had allowed that to happen, but some have said if we do so, we are curtailing the current mandate of the polling station executives. But that mandate expires in February, and this election is 31st of January. So I made a few suggestions. Either we push the election 2 months to allow for a new set of polling stations so that we can add the 2 more. Because if you multiply 2 by 40,000 polling stations, you're talking about 18,000 people. Now, there is a rider at conference. They call it a sunshine clause or whatever. That says that we should hold this most important election before we add the 2, which is something I never agreed to, but that was a majority decision. And also the 7,000 polling electoral area coordinators areas, we were supposed to add 5 more. And that's nearly 30,000. If you add that to the 80,000, you have well over 120,000 people who are being disenfranchised because we are holding this election on the 31st. You know, I would have thought we've compromised a bit. Either we talk to the polling station and say, hey, guys, okay, we know that your mandate is supposed to expire in February, but can we have your election in December so that we can refreshen the base of the party, add the 80,000 and the 30,000 so that they can
But do you see the logic in the people who say that because the party risks getting divided further, it may be better to choose the object that may divide the party early? I think that's the logic. Because, for example, the flag bearer is the biggest thing, right? So if you have a flag bearer by February 2026, then every other election may not really be that divisive because they already know who they are going to sort of support.
Rally around.
That's the logic of that proposition.
Well, I mean, I think some of us are uncomfortable with that suggestion, okay? I think most importantly, it is the way we conduct the primary. Because the fact that you give it time doesn't mean it will heal the wounds. The wounds are deep, the cuts are deep and bad. Time may not heal it. So that's why I think it's important that all of us should recognize that our primary loyalty is to the party, the NPP, and none of us is bigger than the NPP. And so our conduct must show that, you know, and so we have to be very careful what we say. And I think some of the things that have been exchanged not truly complementary to our party, and it tends to arm our opponents for the battle ahead, and it's something that we should all condemn. And
just a final point.
Yo, I was here for in seven and I could say, you know, comments, and we have ɛwɔ comment section amegye bre enkenka emam aha Ghanatube so and I'm more for snowy and I'm saying nsem ebe for siade macro